we're going over course, I guess. We're doing the Mark Stankiewicz thing, right? So anyway, so Mark Stankiewicz, I know it's only by name. He's the finance director. But, you know, if we're going to talk, we're going to talk about, you know, what the city has paid out. What the city has paid out. Let's talk about Turtle Boy Sports for a minute. So, I believe it was December 28th, 2018, and I'm not exactly sure. I think that's the date, but I think it was like 8:29 a.m. That James Bano sent that email to Turtle Boy Sport, calling for them to come for me and somebody else. Frank Milos has that email. I have it. I can't see to tell you the dates. I'm really just going by memory. But I do remember that it was in the morning, and James Bano was an SRO, so he was definitely on first shift. So, I mean, we can get his payroll for that day. We can get his payroll for that day and see if, you know, while he was working, if he sent that email. Because at 8:28, you know, if he started in the morning, it wasn't like a break or a lunch or something like that. But I think that most of his days were pretty much a break or a lunch or whatever. He wasn't doing much. So anyway, so let's talk about that for a minute. So we can find out. We can find out if he sent that during work time. Get his payroll. Anyway, so he had sent that email, and Frank Milos, you know, didn't give it until after 3 years. And the first thing he said to me is, "You can't use that now anyway. It's been more than 3 years." But obviously, he knew that it existed. Obviously, I mean, let's face it. If your first reaction to that is, "Oh my God, I can't believe that what you were saying is true." No, his first fucking reaction was, "Well, it's been more than 3 years, so you know, I can't do anything about that anyway." Did it take anything away, Frank? Did it take anything away? People coming to my house, 2 dead dogs, and 1 dog that had to be hospitalized. You're going to tell me that, no big deal. No big fucking deal, right? No big deal. People coming to my house. You knew it. Frank Milos knew every fucking step of the way. But that's not what I want to talk about right now. What I want to talk about right now is the drama. The drama. You know, the drama between Aiden Carney and Kate Peter. I think that they have felonies here and felonies there. Here a felony, there a felony. Witness intimidation. You know, as much as, you know, everything that they did to me, you know, my biggest concern, one of my biggest concerns, and just so you know, it was, I think, it was like 3 months later, my mom passed away. And if you don't think that woman wasn't under a lot of stress. Anyway, so we're not going to that particular spot right now because I'm going to be getting my mom's medical records. So, and every time that she had mentioned to her doctor that, you know, her nervousness and the Pawtucket police and all that, I will be getting all that. But let's talk a little bit about Aiden's mom. So Aiden's mom was an elderly woman. What that woman must have been gone through, right? So there was something that was brought to my attention. And, you know, the funny thing is, you know, people think, oh, you know, she went out and she found this. No, most people, they know what I've been through and they supply me with information. So anyway, So I guess, there's that divide. The ones that still follow Kate, Peter, and then the ones that follow Aiden. And Aiden's audience is growing by leaps and bounds because he has put himself right into the John O'Keefe death. I don't know if it was murder. I don't know if it was an accident. I have no idea what it was. But I can tell you that, he has gotten all this attention. I don't know what he's going to do for the rest of his life because it looks like this is like the highlight of his life, this whole Karen Read thing. But anyway, I guess Aiden's mom had already passed away, but one of the followers took a snapping turtle and hung it by its neck and put it outside on the porch or whatever of Aiden's mom, so that when she came out, she would get a clear message. This is the sick people that James Bano called to come for me. This is the sick, twisted, demented minds of the followers that would do such a thing. Now, she had already passed away, so she, they didn't do what they wanted to. I'm sure that they figured that, when she went out, she would be devastated because, he's called Turtle Boy, and there was a turtle hanging by its neck outside on the porch, on the steps, or I have no idea. Something. There's an article out there. You guys can go fucking look it up. I don't give a shit about it. But anyway, to the extent that I care about that is the fact that this is what Tina Gonzalez felt was okay. Yeah, bring them to the substation. So now let's talk about the cost. How many people were in the substation? How many people took time out to entertain Kate Peter and Masshole Mitch? And that's his name, Masshole Mitch. And they used some kind of a little video game thing. Yeah. Did they pick up like donuts and coffee for them? Or, this was a whole thing. And the reason for their visit was to come after myself and someone else. Now, what was the cost of that? Now, was James Bano on overtime? Because he worked during the day, right? He was an SRO. So did he get overtime for that day? Because I'm just curious. And everybody else that was there? We're going to find out everybody else that was there. We are. And although James Bano is no longer a police officer, we need to see. After he sent people from Massachusetts to come for me, come to my home. I had the Attorney General's office involved. I had to put a stay on an APRA. I went to the state police. The state police contacted Pawtucket, and obviously Pawtucket said nothing happened. Obviously, Pawtucket fucking lied to them. So, that's all going to come out too, because, we have the proof, and we have it all. And even down to the IA investigation that, Kate Peter says that she saw me in a news article, and that's why she came. That's not true, because the letter clearly states, the email that James Bano sent, from his FOP president email address from the Pawtucket Police Department. I'm sending this from my police department email to show that I'm legit. He was legit. He was a legit fucking dumbass. Who would ever do that. Well, who would ever send anybody to anybody's house? That's number one. But number two, he sent it from his email address from the Pawtucket Police Department and Brian Beach, and all this craziness, right? Yeah. And I'm supposed to just, hey, for 11 years, these are the things that were happening. These were the things that were happening. Or when I go to the Pawtucket Police Department and I'm looking to speak with IA and Michael Choi, telling me that they're not coming. And then I leave the Pawtucket Police Department, I go over to City Hall, and he wants me to be ushered out the door. And I'm like, no, I'm going to Frank Milos's office. And he ran up the fucking stairs, and I took the elevator. And he got to Frank Milos's office before I did. And he sat on the other side. You know where all those confidential shit and everything is? He was on the other side of the wall there, of the glass and everything, so that, he could hear everything that I had to say. He was stalking me, and he continued to stalk me for 4 hours. At least 4 hours. I have videotape of me trying to get the fuck away from him. I ended up having a cut on my hand. And then at one point, he's like, oh, you wanted to be left alone. I left you alone, and you called me back. I never fucking called him. I never fucking called him back. No, never did. But I have the video of that. And I also question him. Norm Lamoureux, we'll get into the Norm Lamoureux thing. But Norm Lamoureux had threatened me online. Norm Lamoureux, I didn't even know who the fuck he was. But he threatened me online. And Michael Choi came to write out the report. He met us at Dunkin' Donuts. Fill out the report. And that fucking night, Michael Choi went in my son's file. For what reason? He went in my son's file. So we can, 4 hours of being stalked while I'm visiting City Hall. Yeah. We have Michael Choi taking the day to spend with me. And he says, oh, in case you needed any assistance. Why would I need assistance from him? He was my personal something for the day. I don't know. He was dedicating his day. Mm-hmm. So, Mark, why don't we find out that too? Did Michael Choi sign out for the day and just want to spend the day with Lynn Farinelli? Or was he working? Because I'm not sure what his job was to follow me around City Hall. In fact, he was outside. I didn't feel comfortable using the handicapped restroom, and I was in my wheelchair because he was standing right outside of it. He's creepy. Very creepy. Extremely creepy. So yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so Mark Stankiewicz, let's find out that day. What was the cost for Michael Choi to be following me around City Hall? Mm-hmm. For no reason. For absolutely no reason. He's such a scumbag. But yeah. Let's find out that cost. Got your calculator, Mark? Got your calculator. I don't know what Michael Choi gets paid per hour, but let's look at that date. I can get it to you. I can get you the date of when he spent all those hours following me around, standing outside Frank Milos's office, standing inside Frank Milos's office, sitting in Frank Milos's office. I'm on video, and I say to Jasmine, you know, is my stalker still with you? You know, because I wasn't sure. He had been sitting in there for a long time. I didn't know if there was a back door that he was using, you know, to leave. But no, he was sitting there. He was just sitting there. Just sitting there. Yeah. So for Michael Choi to be sitting around, you know, on his ass, doing nothing, doing absolutely nothing. I'm just wondering how much was he paid for that? How much was he paid for that? Yeah. And, causing injury to a citizen. For what reason? For what reason? Huh? Yep. So get your calculators out. I got a lot of calculations for you, Mark Stankiewicz.